It's the relations of characters, and if you can live one more day, that's a total triumph. The way that he describes the women, I just don't feel like they have a soul. Hey guys, I'm Ting. I've seen this like 24 hours reading challenge for a long time, and it's always been in my mind, but I haven't got the chance to do it. Always wanted to have this quality time for reading. Then this weekend, as it's a typhoon day, it's pouring rain, why not? But I know myself, I need sleep, so I don't plan to stay up all night. It would be basically break into different time for reading. For example, if I read 6 hours today, then there'll be 18 hours left, right? So it will be the accumulation of 24 hours. And I really want to know how many books I can read within 24 hours. I'm actually quite excited. So the books that I've prepared, well, to be honest, most of my books are in Kindle. Because it's just so much easier for me to carry. I'm not the type of person who started a book and can read it like straight to the end. I need to have different ideas, variations according to my mood. As in ENFP, it's really for me to concentrate on one thing, unless the story is too good that I cannot take my hands off. But usually I have a really different combination of the books that I'm reading. I also have some hard copies like these two. I want to finish them. So this one is about the countryside culture of China. So it's kind of like a sociology book. Yeah. I've actually almost about to finish. And this one is a novel from Mo Yin, the Nobel Prize winner. I actually had this in my Kindle, the digital version. The reason why I bought it is because I went to the bookstore and I saw the hard copy and I said I have to buy it. It would be so much better if I read it with books instead of Kindle, because they have, you know, these types of pictures. And also this, I think I bought it for this. This is the relations of the characters, and as you can see that the different lives the main character had, 7 lives. So I'll tell you how I feel about it after reading. So let's see. For the Kindle, there are so many books I'm reading at the moment. Okay, let me just show you my library. So, you see that? Is it possible to see? I think it'd be easier if I explain in this way. So, this is my Kindle. I don't know why they don't have the cover for it. Some has, some don't. Well, it's really hard for me to tell what kind of book is that, but you can see I've started a lot of different books and it has different percentage that I've read. This one definitely gonna finish. It's from George Orwell, Down and Out in Paris and London. Oh, and this one. This is the very popular book, This Yellow Face. Right. I guess that's what I'm about to read, but yeah, there are actually a lot more. So, without further ado, let's get started. For doing that, I'm gonna set up a timer to be more precise. We're starting just 24 hours. 3, 2, 1. It only took me an hour and something to finish my first book, but I don't have much left, so it's really easy to finish. So the first one, Down and Out in Paris and London from George Orwell. I think most people know his work of 1984 and Animal Farm, but this one is not a novel. It's really based on his experience and those two cities when he was in total poverty. As I just searched that this book was written around 1927, basically 10 years after World War I. The whole Europe is still in a mess, I guess, at that period of time. He really described in detail about the pointless, meaningless, and miserable life of being someone really poor. He did a dishwasher job in Paris. It's kind of like 18 hours, even no break kind of life. But then moved back to England. The first month he had no job, so he was literally a homeless, trying to figure out how to feed yourself and moving from one poor house to another. When one person is really in pure poverty, there's nothing else he can really think of. The only thing is how to get some food, how to get a penny. And if you can live one more day, that's a total triumph. Anyway, it's a very small book and super easy to read, so I would actually recommend it. Let's continue. Well, I actually didn't do much reading today, but it's already 10:30. But anyway, before bedtime, I wanted to start this. Such good weather today. I think the days after typhoon just much prettier. I am at the station about to meet a friend.
本次列车终点站。
Aber sie werden vom
So for this weekend, I read altogether around 8 hours. In the Kindle, I finished one, but I'm also reading another one. For physical book, the hard copy I have, I'm around 1/5. I hope I can finish this and probably can explain a little bit more about this book later. And I guess that's for the weekend, but for the weekdays, I will try to read on my way to work in the lunchtime. If I still have some time, I will do it after work at home as well. So yeah, keep going. The third weekend during the past weeks. I just feel like there are so many things pile up, like work, eating out, activities. So I didn't really do much reading daily, but I try to manage half an hour a day. I still have around 8 hours left. I plan to finish that task at this weekend. Ta-da! I finished the book. You can see it as a masterpiece which helps Mo Yin to win the Nobel Prize. And some people call it the Chinese version of Cien Años de Soledad. It's really hard to summarize in a couple of sentences, but the main character, the hero, went through, I think, 6 times of reincarnation to witness the whole historical change of recent China from 1950 till 2005. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, that's the change of the life. So the first life he was a human, then he died. In the first reincarnation he was turned into a donkey. The second life, a cattle. The third life, a pig. Fourth life, a dog. And the sixth life, a monkey, which is pretty short. And then turning to a human again. So because he was those kind of animals, he can see things through different angles to tell the history, the historical changes, as well as the family change. Basically, there are three generations, so the whole big family picture to describe the changes through their life events. I'm not going to be the spoilers. If you're interested in those histories and also the way of the narration, then it would be highly recommended. And I think it is because the author Mo Yin has gone through those years himself. He was also one of the witness of the changes, so he can tell the story. You know, you can feel it through the words. In general, it's a wonderful novel, but there's one thing I really, really want to roast him, is the description of love and his understanding towards women. That's something I really want to complain about. I just feel like probably for their generation, love is something rare, so that they don't know how to talk about it, how it really works, right? So the love description in the book, which is a small part, but I think the author really want to highlight, you know, despite all the difficulty, they finally made it together. But I really didn't see the spark between the man and the woman, you know, the connection between them. What I see and what he tells in the book is only the sexual attraction, and that's it. And that's the only thing that bond them together. And that is just so wrong. Or maybe there's something else, but he didn't describe it. So I was like, okay, just leave it. And also the way that he describes the women inside of the book, I just don't feel like they have a soul. Probably because he don't understand women, so that he cannot describe them. That really makes me feel uncomfortable in some way, because he kind of, like, in my perspective of view, that he tried to materialize them, which makes me so uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna rate it like 3.5 to 4 out of 5, I guess. Apart from that, the story itself is good. Okay, let's continue. Well, I have not much left for today. So, the 24-hour reading challenge completed. I finished this one, 乡土中国. I don't know what's the English name of it, but maybe countryside China. And also finished another one, a novel from Ishiguro Kazuo, The Remains of the Day. I've read maybe around 60% before this challenge, so I only have 40% remain. I've also started a new one, which is this one. It's called 忧郁的热带. I think the title is in French, so I'm searching for the pronunciation.
Triestes Tropiques.
Triestes Tropiques. Well, it's a famous work of anthropology. I have no comments for that so far because I've just started, so it's just 10%. For this countryside China, it's really a small book, as you can tell. Being a Chinese doesn't mean that I know China so well. I'm just, a very tiny little individual which live here, so I can only see a little part of China according to my own experience, right? But there are so much land in China. Because I live in Shanghai and mainly the cities my whole life, I know little about the countryside stuff. But I think China is a country with so abundant land and also a long history of agriculture. So that's the base of our society. Yeah, so it's a famous work of the Chinese sociology. I think it didn't really describe in depth, but it's a good starting point to really understand more about China, to dig into more information in the future. The other one from Ishiguro Katsuo, I haven't read his work so far, even though I know he's very famous and won the Nobel Prize as well. I did try to read another novel of him. It's called The Cloud and the Sun. Trust me, I've tried 3 times. But I just couldn't finish it. I just stuck in the middle. It's just so plain to me. It's like drinking water. It's not sparkling water even. So I just couldn't finish it. But then this work is quite different. The Remains of the Day. Through the narration of the leading housekeep of a big mansion, we kind of can understand what's happening in the history, but at the same time in a very different angle. And what I feel really sad about the main character is that being this qualified servant, being the qualified housekeeper, he sacrificed so much of the relationship of his life with his father and the possible love. Yeah, he's just being a robot, workaholic, lose the sense of life. I think he's just trying to hide emotions inside. The feelings, emotions, the connections are what makes us different from other creatures. My conclusion would be, don't let the work ruin your life. In total, I finished 4 books and started a new one. I didn't really follow my plans of reading when I'm making this video, but it's just spontaneously read what I really want to, just me being me. This challenge really made me read as much as I can, even though I also realize, even if 24 hours, which sounds like just one day, but it really took me 2 weeks to finish it. I just realized there's so much limitations and limited time for us to put into reading. I think it's a good starting point for me to prioritize this in my life. And also the most important thing would be that I really enjoy the process, indulge myself into the books, into the feelings of the characters, and into, the knowledge gain process. So yeah, I did enjoy it very much. So that's the end of the video. If you have read those books, let me know how you think about it. And I'm more than happy if you can get me your book list, recommended books, so that I can dig into it later on and make maybe another video of this reading challenge. And thank you so much for accompanying me go through this journey. See you next time.